You've helped me to realize that the universe, all the power of the universe is with me when I'm going for my greatest dream. Going for lesser things,
the energy
there's
that
not
creates,
as much power behind me. And
again, we were talking right over the top of you.
Yeah, it's like you've helped me to realize that miracles happen when you go for your dreams because everything's with you.
A miracle meaning a freak of nature?
You know, sometimes you hear of people following their dream and they throw themselves off into something that might seem risky or scary, but they're doing what they love and they don't know what's going to happen, but all these amazing things start happening.
So the way we would describe that is when someone throws themselves into something that maybe others are calling risky, or maybe they even at one time would have called risky. When they're throwing themselves into it, it means that they have achieved a vibrational pattern that makes their expectation of success strong enough, at least for the moment that they're making the decision to throw themselves into it. So for them, there was no feeling of risk. We're never encouraging you to feel afraid and jump in anyway, because the fear that you feel is your indication that you haven't prepared the grid and it's going to be hard. We want you, that's why we want you to make it general enough that the fear goes away. We want you to take yourself into a place where the fear has subsided, and then it's not risky. Someone recently asked us, what's the difference between a possibility and a probability? And we said, we would really like to take it further to a certainty, because a possibility or a probability, those are just weaker vibrational convictions. That's just less focus upon what is wanted. But if you can hear us when we say that you have put things in your vortex that are a vibrational reality, and even though you can't see them, you've got to trust that they are there. So if you foster the feeling of trust and expectation, if you talk to yourself enough, if you convince yourself that you are worthy and that you came with reason, if you let law of attraction demonstrate to you that it is consistent 100% of the time, if you begin to make the parallels between what you were thinking and feeling and what happened, so that you have this clear association about the way the law of attraction responds to you, as you think and feel purposefully and then watch the way things happen, as you start playing this game deliberately, it's not then a game of trusting something that is unknown. It's a game of knowing something that is absolutely known. The law of attraction is not messing with you. It's not squirrely at all. It is consistent 100% of the time. And so it will help you to teach yourself what this emotion brought and what this emotion brought. There are two ways to know what you're doing with your vibrational frequency. One is what's manifesting, because what's manifesting around you is evidential of what you're doing, what you're putting out vibrationally. But the other way, a pre-manifested way, is by paying attention to the way you feel. So as you begin to comment to yourself, to acknowledge, I'm a thinking being, and I'm offering vibration, and I can feel the resonance in my vibration. I remember sitting in that chair. I remember knowing that I was going to be called on, and then I was called on. I remember feeling the emotion of confidence before I had the evidence of confidence. And thousands of other things that are happening to you every month, that give you that sort of evidence, until you show yourself the universe's response to the vibration that you're offering. That's the way you gain your confidence. You flow it, and then you watch what happens, and you flow it. Esther said to a friend the other day, she really liked the movie Groundhog Day. The first time she saw it, she turned it on somewhere in the middle, and she couldn't figure out what was happening. But as she watched it from the beginning to the end, she has been thinking recently that since you never get it done and you can't get it wrong, that every time you have an experience, you have the opportunity to regroup and play it again more in the way that you're wanting. And the way the universe is responding to you, it lets you know, it's giving you feedback. So the conversation that we're having with our friends these days is all about understanding that you are standing here as a vibrating being, emanating a signal, and that you are conjuring or creating a point of attraction that we are lovingly referring to as your grid. And so we say 100% of our attention, if we were standing in your physical shoes, would be, how am I doing right now with my grid? How am I doing right now with my grid? Which would bring this question, how do I feel? A little pensive, not doing so good with my grid. How can I bring it into more general terms? Or how can I change the subject? How can I give myself some relief? How can I soften the vibrational resistance? Because the whole point of the grid, hear this, if you can accept that you have created a vortex, can you? Doesn't it make perfect sense that all that you've lived has put that vibrational version there?
It's the only thing that makes sense.
If it's the only thing that makes sense. So as you now know that the contents of that vortex are real, and you now know that in order for you to realize it in full manifested form, all you have to do is be up to speed with it, then every time you feel negative emotion, you know you're not up to speed with it, then just do anything you can right now to bring relief from that negative emotion. And you will prepare your grid, prepare your grid, prepare your grid, prepare your grid, so that more and more and more of the contents of your vortex can show themselves to you, so that you do not have to take anybody else's word for what's in there.